Goodbye 2025, hello 2026. And what does it mean for this platform? Well, now that we're done with the book of Ecclesiastes and we have taken a moment to appreciate the things that we have lost, it is a new season. The book of Ecclesiastes teaches that there is a season for everything, and every season has a beginning and an end and a transition to the next season. So, with that being said, today I want to invite you into this moment as I just take time with God, reflecting on the past year and transitioning mentally, preparing for the new year, and sharing with you some stuff that I feel like God had put on my heart to do and how He has met me this year and allowed me to grow into the woman that I am today. Because the woman I was beginning of this year is not the same woman that I am today. So I want to share a bit more with that. I want to share a bit more about that with you. This year, I had 3 books to help me get through the year. I had this one here, which is my grief journal. I got this book to mainly focus on grieving, writing the things that I feel, drawing out the things that I feel, whatever I feel is related to grief. I poured it out into this book, of which later, because I don't have space in the other book, I started using this book also for journaling and just journaling every day kind of thing. And then this book, I had it for keeping track of it was like my diary basically. What I did was I would journal the dreams that I had that day or that morning, and then I would write out because most of the time it was in the morning when I would do this. I would write out my thoughts and feelings in that morning, just release everything out onto the paper to prepare my heart also for meeting God that morning, kind of just like getting all my stress out onto the paper. And then after that so what I would do is I would say like, dear Jesus, I'd be writing letters to him, not just making it a basic journal entry or a diary entry. And then at the end of that, I would write out 5 things that I'm grateful for that day or that morning. And I would do it with dedicating 3 things to things that I'm just grateful for in general. And then one thing, something I'm grateful for about myself, that's internally who I am authentically as a person. Like, oh, thank you, God, that I am confident. And then externally, something that I do or I am, I'll be like, thank you, God, for my hair. It's so beautiful. So just trying to practice our heart posture of gratitude. And then I had this book over here, the last book. This book, I actually started doing something that I have planned on doing. I don't know about you, but I would always look at the Pinterest girlies, the that girl girlies, and I would see them do journal entries or day in my life trackers and things like that. So this was finally the year that I actually took time to do that for myself, and I have an honest opinion about it, which I was not expecting, so we will get into that. But what I did with this book is that at first I wrote down my prayers. So personally, I have a weekly prayer guide because I want to pray for so much and I get overwhelmed by it, so I distribute that throughout the week so as to not overwhelm me. And I have specific prayers written down for my husband and I because yeah, we are my top 2 focus prayer points. What I was keeping track of here was my day in 2025, health tracker, dream tracker, moving my body, flow and energy tracker, personal notes for each month regarding the flow and energy tracker, water tracker, a year in words, peaks, valleys, and God's presence, lessons from the world around me. Now, I want to get into a bit more detail about these 3 books before I continue with the video. Oh, at the back of this book also, I had written a letter to myself. I had written yearly goals and a letter to my future self that I was planning on reading the ending of this year, which would be today. So we'll read that together. But I explained in detail about these 2 other books basically the grief book, I think I have explained more about this in like my previous videos on the book of Ecclesiastes, because that was just me sharing my grief journey with you. So I will not get into further details about this. And you can watch the other videos just to know what's going on. But for this one, it was basically what I just said. So I think that's pretty much the detail about it. I don't need to get into further detail. I think the thing that I did wrong with this book though was that I didn't have a lot of pages. I got a book with like a short amount of pages. So I finished writing very quickly. Like I finished like the pages in the book very quickly. I didn't get to do what I had wanted initially. I got to a point where I realized that I journaled more instead of praying more. So journaling, I don't think there's anything wrong with journaling, honestly. It helps bring out emotions in you when you can't express them with your words. So I think it's a beautiful thing. I highly recommend as a method to like get things out of your heart and your mind. But for me, it got to a point where I chose writing to Jesus over praying to him. And there's a thin line there, and I crossed it. So I would say my advice to you is that prioritize your prayers. Keep journaling if it helps you, but never put journaling above praying. Okay, now I want to talk more about this book because it's such a passion of mine, honestly, and one day I hope to actually make a book like this for a living, but for now I just want to share with you how I went about it. I explained the prayer thing in the beginning and what I did. I put that there to help me like focus on my prayer points. But for my day in 2025, I had journaled it like this. And something I want to take note of that I realized as a mistake was I didn't factor in that not all months have the same number of days. So at the end of it, I had to like cancel to say, nope, this day's not here in this month and everything. So that was a mistake on my end. When I redraw for 2026, I will need to fix that. But for this, I had a great day, a good day, a neutral day, a bad day, and the worst day. And what I had learned about this as I was journaling or tracking this is that the day depends on me. Like, the day can go however it wants. But at the end of the day, it is up to you to decide, was it a good day or was it a bad day? What are you going to focus more on the end of the day? Will I have a bad moment throughout that day and then let that one bad moment just ruin the entire day? And I sit there and I'm like, I had a bad day. And yet there was still so much good that happened throughout that day. So it's a matter of like focus. That's what I learned, to not let a bad moment ruin a good day. Now, for my health tracker, I had asthma attack, sick day, just not 100%, because in my family, I grew up having these days where it's like, you know what, I'm just not feeling 100% okay, and I can't necessarily say I'm sick, but something's not right. And it's not necessarily a sick day either, but something's not right. So I had just not 100%. Gynecologist visit, dentist visit, hospital visit, hospitalized, optician. I wasn't as attentive to the health tracker as I should have been. I think I would have like sick days and I wouldn't really acknowledge or put it here because I just didn't think much about it, or I was just too sick to care. So I think for the upcoming year, I want to take more interest in that and also probably jot down like reasons behind why I'm feeling this way. Like if I have an asthma attack, I want to write down, okay, I'm feeling like I'm having an asthma attack because I was out in the dust or something, you know? Just to help me be more attentive to my body and the things that trigger it. Dream tracker. Now for the dream tracker, I had no dream, forgot, no dream or forgot, good dream, bad dream, nightmare, prophetic, attack, sleep paralysis, no sleep, an all-nighter. Now I'm somebody that gets sleep paralysis like every other week. So I started to like keep track about that, and I'm grateful I did because it helped me take note of when exactly do I get sleep paralysis. So I'm able to understand, okay, I see it's when I pull an all-nighter or when I have a bad dream or when I have a spiritual attack, something like that. And that's what I meant by attack, is that it's a spiritual attack that'll be happening in my sleep. I'm also keeping track of like things like that because I'm a spiritual person and I don't want to miss out on how God has protected me, how the enemy has tried to attack me. Because like a lot happens in your sleep. You think God will stop speaking to you just because you're sleeping, or you think the devil will stop attacking you just because you're sleeping. No, just because you're resting doesn't mean that life around you stops moving for you. It doesn't work like that. So I really wanted to take note of that, and I'm grateful that I did. I am upset though that at one point I didn't have this book with me. So for most of that month, I just had no dream or forgot, which is pretty upsetting that I don't know what occurred then. But I think if it was something worth remembering, it would have been there. Now, moving my body. This had to do with exercising. At first, beginning of the year, when I planned on doing this, I wanted to go into details to say that, did I skip rope today? Did I lift weights today? Did I run today? Did I do this today? Did I do all that? And I realized that that was actually getting to me. It became so overwhelming that I didn't even want to exercise at all. Like, you know that feeling when you have so much to do that you feel so overwhelmed by it that you don't even do anything at all. So I sat down, I prayed, I asked God, what should I do about this? And I realized, let me not pay attention to the details of it, but rather let me appreciate the effort that I put in. Let me prioritize discipline over like going into details about the whole thing, because I obsessed over what I should be doing, how my weight gain journey should be, or do I want to lose weight or do I want to gain weight? What should I do? Things like that. And it left me feeling so overwhelmed that I forgot to just appreciate my body as God's holy temple. So I realized, okay, no, I should prioritize consistency over the details of the matter. So I put moving my body. And I didn't focus throughout the year saying what I did. It was rather, did I move my body today or not? Did I exercise today or not? Did I stretch? Did I skip rope? Did I lift weights? Did I do Pilates? Did I do that? And also throughout the year, what I also did was like take time to experiment on different things, see what I like, see what I don't like, what I can do. Because that's the thing. I could say I want to do this, and then circumstances don't allow for me to do that exercise. And I don't want to be feeling bad for things that I can't control. So that was another thing I took note of. And I realized that what's important is moving my body. It doesn't matter what the day is, as long as I move my body and I take time to give myself rest days, because I had moved my body and I had rest day. And with the rest day, I realized that some days I'm gonna sit there and I'm gonna say, you know what, I'm supposed to be exercising today, but I just don't feel like it, or I can't. I'm giving myself a rest day. So this also helped me to practice what it means to rest and what it means to listen to my body, because I want to exercise, but my body is not feeling too good to exercise. So I'm going to take a rest day. And sometimes it's like, okay, I want to exercise, but my body's not feeling too great. Maybe I could do a stretch instead of lifting weights like what I wanted to do. So I'm really grateful to have done this, and I encourage you to do it also, especially if you're on like a journey like this, because it really helps you take note and listen to your body. Unfortunately, I was not as consistent as I would have liked to be, but at the same time, keeping track of this helped me see that I did make the effort to exercise this year. Flow and energy tracker. As a woman, I'm gonna keep track of what's going on in my body. So here I had my period flow, I had my cervical mucus, I had my cycle length, and I had symptoms written down here, of which I tried to keep track at the beginning of the year, but then halfway through I just got too lazy to do it, because it's like, dude, there's not enough space in these tiny boxes to do this, so I might have to give it to a miss. So what I noted about this is that I learned what it means to be a woman. I learned to learn more about my body, because initially I'm just like, I don't care. I didn't have like an app to do it, plus I don't feel like apps were helping me as much as I would have liked. Plus, I really wanted to learn more about my body. So I felt like doing it like this was better for me. If an app works for you, that's great, keep at it. But for me, it wasn't working. So doing this helped me really be attentive to what is going on in my body. It helped me to be attentive to learning about my cycle length, which I think I still need to work on. But period flow and cervical mucus also taught me things about my body that I didn't think I would know before. But I do now. So I highly encourage, if you want to understand your body more as a woman. And also, whenever you go for a gynecologist visit, you could always take this with you and show them. At the back of that, I had just a few notes to teach me about like hormonal phases. I had personal notes during phases, but I didn't write it here. Instead, I wrote personal notes for each month. By the way, I got the names for all this stuff from ChatGPT. I wanted like aesthetic stuff, so I looked up some aesthetic phrases to use to describe these things. But to summarize, the personal notes for each month is that prioritize drinking water, make healthier life choices, and understand that healthier life choices, like things that you eat and you're exercising or your moving habits, they all affect your flow. Listen to your skin, because your skin also tells you what is happening internally. And don't push yourself, because we are women, we have different hormonal phases, and in each hormonal phase we bring ourselves to the table differently. So take note and don't push yourself too hard. Listen to your body. Consistency with skincare, with taking medication, that is all important for your body as well. But never forget to prioritize water. Water is really important. And what I also want to say is that there is no harm in taking medication. There is no harm in taking medication for your cramps, for your painkillers. I mean, that is important. That helps. There's no shame in doing all of that. But if you feel like your cramps are getting too much, I highly recommend going to a gynecologist for assistance, because that could mean something else. Or if your flow is a lot longer compared to the normal flow amount of days, if your flow is a lot longer than normal, then you should also seek a doctor, a professional for help. But I just recommend just listening to your body, try out new things, take note, and listen to your body, because we all go through things differently and we all react differently to stuff. But never push yourself too hard, because you are not getting any younger. You need to grow with your body and learn what your body wants in this age. Now, water tracker. I took track of the amount of water I drink, because I was realizing that drinking water, I hate that sound, man, but I realized that drinking water actually helps a lot with my body. It helps internally, it helps externally. So I decided to actually track the amount of water that I drink. And it didn't go as planned. I bought this bottle actually to do this water tracker thing. And so I was tracking based on how much water I drank. But then it started to get overwhelming, because I started just feeling so overwhelmed by the amount of water I should be drinking. I mean, it would be like 11 o'clock at night, and I'm trying to finish this whole bottle just so I could draw a heart, because I drew hearts to try and say, like, I finished the entire bottle. But there's a difference here, right? Some days there are lines because I didn't drink any water that day, or maybe I drank like a small amount and I didn't count that as drinking water. But halfway through the year, I realized, wait a second, it is more important to drink water than to not drink water at all. Whether it is a glass a day or a bottle a day, it is important that I drink water and stay consistent with that. Just like with exercising, it is important that I show up to exercise rather than not exercise at all. So I started halfway through the month saying, you know what, I'm tracking whether I drank water today or not, and I'm going to tick instead of put a heart. Putting a heart is to say that I finished the entire bottle, but putting a tick is like saying I drank water today. Doesn't matter how much it was, the fact is I drank and I took time to drink water. Whew. A year in words is another thing I took track of. Let me just say that I made a goal beginning of the year to say I will read 2 books a month. One a practical and one a novel. I want to make a whole separate video talking about these books and just giving like a book review, because I'm into books and I want to share that with you guys as well, especially like sharing with you the Christian books I have read and like my reviews on it. But so far, I have a good reads over here that you can follow along to see what I am reading, what I am rating. Right now, I'm not making reviews on Goodreads, but I think this year it is something that I might actually start doing. I don't know. Peaks, valleys, and God's presence. Each month, I actually took note of the peaks, valleys, and God's presence in that month. With the peaks, I took note of the highs in this month, the things that really stood out to me, and I have to write it down, and the good things that happened that month. I took note of the valleys, the things that really upset me, the things that really stuck with me. I wrote it down and poured my heart out here about it. I just noted down, I didn't go into detail though. But above all, I noted God's presence in that month, noticing where was He in this month. Now that the month is over, the good and the bad have happened. Where can I say I saw God's presence in this month? That's what I noted. Lessons from the world around me. These are just notes that I have taken from like a church service or a YouTube video. I didn't really use this section as much as I had wanted it to, like as much as I wanted it to, but that was mainly because I stopped watching YouTube videos as much as I was in the previous year. But I think this year I still want to continue with this because there's so much I can learn from YouTube and from the world around me, and I want to start really jotting that down. So that is the goal for the year ahead. Right now, I want to take the rest of this video just documenting this moment with you. I'm going to be reading through the yearly goals that I had for this year and the letter I wrote to myself, and then just reflecting on that, as well as taking time to get into these two books over here. This is the new journal that I'm going to have. Most of the things I had in here, I'm going to put in here, and the same trackers and stuff like that. So I'm just going to like try and draw that now. And I have a diary. I have a proper diary, a 2026 diary. That is what I have. Because I realized, like I said earlier, I realized that I spend a lot of time journaling instead of praying. So the amount of minutes I gave into journaling a day, I want to remove that and take it into prayer. And then just document the year in the diary and just journal a bit about like how the day went, but I don't want it to take over prayer anymore. So I felt convicted about that, and I want to make that change this coming year. Okay, can I just say something before I continue? From reading the yearly goals, it's pretty funny because I had a lot of goals, and I think I only met like 4 of them, and yet I am feeling so much peace because I know that even though I didn't meet these goals, I am trusting that God is at the center and He is in control. Most of the stuff here for my goals are things that I'm now at a standstill with in my life, and I've surrendered to God, and I'm trusting that He is redirecting me some way, somehow. Some of the goals I'm just like, I actually didn't really want this. I just wanted something to do. And it's funny, in some of the goals, I see that God actually answered the prayer or answered the goal in a way He saw was best. So I think that what I want to share with you is that when it comes to yearly goals, don't put too much pressure on yourself, because at the end of the day, God has the final say. But also, let your goals be a direction for you. But make sure that Jesus is the goal. So when you're planning these upcoming year goals, make sure that you are aligned with what God wants you to do. That's what I want to do for my next one, as I'm going to write the next yearly goals, to make sure that I'm aligned with what Jesus wants me to do. And at the same time, just put your trust in God. Put your trust in God and commit to your goals. But give yourself grace if you don't end up doing what you set out to do. And trust that God is with you in all of this. Okay, now I'm gonna read a letter to myself. Wow. Whew, that was really, really deep. That actually just broke my heart a little bit. I think with reading this and reflecting on this letter, one thing I can say is that I wrote from a place of hurt. That's one thing I can truly say when I read through this, because 2024 was the hardest year of my life, man. I lost my grandmother, I lost my great-grandmother, all in a span of 1 month. I moved different countries again, like uprooted my life and just left, and in a span of 2 years I had done that, so that was a lot. And reading this just breaks my heart because I see how hurt I was and how low I was, and it was really, really brutal. I think one thing I'm grateful for, honestly, is that I've actually healed. I never thought I would sit here and I would say something like that, but I actually have healed. I think going through the book of Ecclesiastes with God just brought me to a point of feeling, healing, forgiving, letting go, connecting with other people, you know? So that's really great. And something I want to say is that this is truly a testimony moment, but things do get better. I'm reading this letter to myself, and I'm sounding so heartbroken. Like, if I read it to you, you can tell that I sound like a child. I'm 22 when I'm writing this, but I sound like a little girl speaking from a place of hurt, speaking from a place of fear and vulnerability. And today I'm reading this and I'm like, wow, God really got me out of the trenches, taught me how to feel, taught me how to lean into Him, be open about my emotions, how to receive love and help. And God, He changed me. Fortunately, too, He changed the circumstances. And it does get better. It really does. I am now on the other side reading this, and I'm like, I'm still hurting a bit from the things that hurt me then. But I am at a better point where I'm able to face that hurt, tackle it the best way I can, because some days look different than others. Some days I can handle the hurt better. Other days I am feeling like I'm crumbling by the same hurt. But that is why God says to forgive. Man, this really broke my heart. It really broke my heart, and at the same time encouraged me that things do get better. And I hope that it encourages you to know that things do get better. Let's get into preparing these 2 books for this coming year. taking a lot of time and energy. I think I'm just gonna show you the finished result once I am done. But for now, I'm gonna continue doing it on my own, and then I will show you the finished product. But right now, I will show you what I have done so far, which is my day in 2026. I don't know if you can see it nicely. I'll put it here on the screen if it's not as visible. But that is what I did. And I learned a few things that I want to do with the rest of the book and what I don't want to do. But it's just a trial and error. I'm not trying to make this perfect. I'm just trying to do my best right now and remain consistent with doing this because I thoroughly enjoyed it this past year and I want to keep doing it, well, for this year to come at least. I am done writing out all this, so I want to show you what I have done. But I want to first say, as I was doing this, I realized that, well, a thought crossed my mind, which I don't believe is from God, but I had this thought in my mind of like, oh wow, people are going to be watching this and thinking to themselves, like, I've got all the time in the world to be doing this. And I was also thinking that to be like, oh my gosh, I'm just looking like I have all the time in the world to be doing this. But the thing is, something I want to clarify is that I have been wanting to do something like this for the longest time, ever since I came across this on Pinterest. For years I've been wanting to do it, but I never found the time to do it, or I never had the time to do it, until I realized that's a decision that I make. It is a decision that I decide whether I have the time or not. I will make the time for it. So this past year, I felt on my heart like it is time for me to be doing this. It is time for me to be. I know I don't have a small pencil case to put this in, so I'm just doing this. Don't judge me. But I felt it on my heart that it is time for me to be doing it. So I made the decision to say, okay, I will make time to do this and I will do it. I made a commitment to it and I started doing it. And I realized halfway that, I have a passion for something like this, and maybe one day God will use this passion for a reason, but right now it is to share this journey with you. So I'm sharing this with you, and if you feel on your heart that you want to try to do something like this, then go ahead and do it. Ignore all the people that will judge you for doing it. Somebody always has something to say. At the end of the day, it is between you and Jesus, okay? What do you guys see best for your life? Make sure that you are aligned with his goals. He's the only one that, like, his opinion is the only one that truly, truly matters. Yes, some people close to you all have a say and all, but at the end of the day, are you following Jesus or not? So I'm following Jesus into doing this, and I'm, allowing you guys to join me in it. So let me show you what I have done. I always actually leave I didn't even notice this page, but I always leave a blank page. It was so upsetting to see that the book came like this, but I'm trusting that God called me to this specific book. I saw this pink book there, and then when I went to the shop and saw it, I instantly knew I should be taking it. So God called me to have this book, and I'm here with it now. So anyway, I always leave out a page just for fun. I don't know, it's just something I do. And then I have my weekly prayer guide as the first page. Following that, a day or my day in 2026. This is what it is looking like. I started out here trying something new because I didn't like putting X's on the other book. So throughout doing all this, I tried to find a rhythm or something I was comfortable with. There's the health tracker, the dream tracker. This is what I settled on doing. I have all the notes of what the dreams are looking like there. Moving my body, flow and energy tracker. Actually, at the end here, I put a cycle length to kind of get into the habit of understanding what does it mean to have a cycle length. And here on top, here, there's the period flow, the cervical mucus, and I'm just going to color based on those things. The water tracker. What I did this year is I drank water today, and I did not drink water at all today, because sometimes I'll have a sip or something of water, or like a glass of water, and I feel like I didn't drink any water, so I'll just say I never drank any water. But now the goal is even a sip counts. Oh, and for the flow and energy tracker, I actually had this too, which is personal notes for each month, so I put that there. Then a year in words. This is where I will be documenting all the books I have read. My goal is to still read one practical and one novel this entire year for each month. So I will be taking you guys along that journey with me as well. I'll still be making a separate video on the book reviews for this past year. And I don't know, we'll see about like the upcoming year and what the plans are for that. Anyway, peaks, valleys, and God's presence. This is what it's looking like. And then I have left a blank page here, allowing for the next thing about this entire book is lessons from the world around me, where I'll just be documenting things that I have learned throughout, the world around me, some notes that I found. But that is it. So I know I said I'd be doing both books today, this one and this one, but I don't really want to be doing this one today. We should just be filling out my name, my address, my telephone number, cell phone number, fax number, email, things like that, because I'm in a transition season of my life right now where all these details are changing. So I don't want to write something here and then that changes and I have to go back and cancel and put something else. I don't want to do that. So right now I'm just going to leave it blank and keep this safe with me. Make sure I don't lose it. Because, yeah, I would not want to lose this and not have my information on it. That would, just suck a lot. But for now, I am done with that. Whew. Well, I am done with doing all of that. I just want to say thank you guys for joining me along this journey. This past year has been a lot. And I don't know how 2025 has been for you. Feel free to write in the comments how it has been for you. Did you try doing something like this year? Do you want to do something like this in 2026? What are your hopes and your dreams for this upcoming year? Which reminds me, I never wrote down a letter to myself. I have to do that too. I did all this, but I never wrote a letter to myself for the end of the year. So I need to do that. But I just want to say thank you guys for watching today's video. I know it's long. I know there's a lot going on in it. But I appreciate your patience and I appreciate you guys joining me along this journey for also the YouTube channel, because the book of Ecclesiastes has been the main goal for this channel, and now that is over, this channel is going to a whole new direction. So if you are interested, then please follow along, stay tuned, and watch how God is moving on this channel. Well, it is literally just the carpenter's touch. This channel is still for God's glory, sharing my story in it all, sharing how God is over my life, and maybe it'll help you some way, somehow. I don't know. But I will be walking in obedience in doing this. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. I don't have an outro for this, but other than thank you guys for joining me. I'm going to do a letter to myself now. I just remembered to do a letter to myself and I completely forgot about that. Oh my gosh. There's like a little envelope thingy here. That is so cool. That is so cool. I don't know what to keep inside here. I would say I'd keep a letter to myself here, but I'm going to be doing it in the book. So, yeah. I don't know. Should I put a letter here? I don't know. This is just so fascinating. I was not expecting that. That's so cool, man. Nah, I think I'll just leave it. Plus, I'm scared it'll slip out or something. So I won't do that. Just write it here. Anyway, now I will be writing my yearly goals and a letter to myself.